So hey everyone, and in this video we are going to start with MongoDB. So this is a very popular database, and if you want to become a full stack developer, then obviously for database you would be using MongoDB. So let's understand what exactly this is, and today we would be covering the introduction and what are the basic terminologies, basic definitions, and then the installation part. So let's begin. So first of all, what is MongoDB? So MongoDB is a popular open source. That means anyone can see its code and just use its code to make their own similar kind of tool like MongoDB. And it's a NoSQL database program. It is classified as a document-oriented database, meaning it stores data into flexible JSON-like format. That means we studied about JSON, JavaScript object notation in previous videos. Like similar to that, we have binary JSON format. That means JSON format data converted into binary format which computer understands easily, and this is the format which MongoDB uses to store the data. So MongoDB is developed by MongoDB Inc., that is the company itself, and it offers a scalable, high performance and flexible approach to handle and manage data. So if I give you an example of what exactly it means is, so you can actually imagine you have a notebook where you write down all kinds of things. So in traditional notebooks, you would write information in an orderly fashion, line by line, following a structure. That means if I talk about database like SQL, MySQL, you write data in some tabular format. That means it's systematic, right? But if I talk about MongoDB, this is a NoSQL database. That means you can write data in any format. For example, each page might contain similar types of information or a different kind of information. For example, MongoDB as a very clever notebook that doesn't need any strict order or structure. Instead of lines, you can write or draw information however you like on each page. That means it's not mandatory to provide data always in same format. You can provide extra data or less data. It can still allow you to store data in database. So you can have a page with person's name, age, favorite color, and then the next page might be of something different like favorite food, and you can mix those things all together also, and things like that. So MongoDB provides a lot functionality for storing the data. And if you have a lot of variation, like for example, if you have some kind of data which changes a lot, for example in gaming industry, you don't know exactly what kind of commands and different kind of features your game might have in different levels. So like, yeah, for database purpose, some people might prefer some different data, some people might prefer some different data. So for that, MongoDB is very good. For different users, the data might be different, the format of data might be different, and makes more sense in the real world nowadays. So if you want to find all the pages about people who like pizza, MongoDB will help you quickly flip through the notebook. So we have a lot of features which would actually help you to search any kind of document in MongoDB, and this information is scattered across different sections. So if you want to find any information, you have to use functions which are available in MongoDB. So it's like having a magical book that lets you organize your thoughts in a more flexible way. That means you don't have any restrictions that only this kind of data must be stored. You can store any kind of data in MongoDB, and makes it easy to find what you are looking for without following the rigid pattern. So later on we'll understand more what's exactly this MongoDB is providing us. If I talk about normal databases like MySQL, that comes under the SQL category, how is it different from MongoDB and how MongoDB is better, we'll understand that later. Okay, but yeah, for basic definition, you can just assume that MongoDB is a very flexible database. That means it allows you to store data in any format, and there is no restriction. That means in if I talk about SQL, there are some restrictions, we'll discuss that later, but in MongoDB there are no restrictions. Okay, and the format in which MongoDB stores data is the BSON format. That's a binary JSON format data. Okay, so later on we'll understand more about the differences between BSON and JSON also. So now let's continue. First of all, I'll explain the key features of MongoDB. So guys, we have a lot key features of MongoDB, but here I have actually mentioned some 4 common key features of MongoDB. So if I give you an example, so you can actually see that MongoDB is first of all document oriented database. What does this mean? So MongoDB is a document oriented database. That means it stores data in flexible JSON-like documents known as JSON, right? So you know JSON format, right? It has different kind of key value pairs, and it's basically a JavaScript object, and it contains different arrays and multiple objects. It can store data in string format, number format, integer format, whatever format you like. So it would allow you to store data in different formats, also the Boolean format. So this structure allows for easy storage and retrieval of data without a fixed schema, providing flexibility in data modeling. So that's what data document oriented storage is, and later on I'll give you an example also. And then after this, guys, we have something else, that is scalability and high performance. So MongoDB is designed for high scalability. That means you can horizontally scale this MongoDB database across multiple servers. So it enables to handle large amounts of data and high traffic volumes. What is horizontal scaling, by the way? It simply means that you can create multiple databases and they would act as a single database in MongoDB. So that's the benefit. So MongoDB's architecture and indexing capabilities contribute to its high performance in reading and writing data. Then after this, we have replication and high availability. So MongoDB supports replica sets, ensuring data redundancy and high availability. This feature helps in automatic failover, ensuring data remains accessible even if the event of hardware fails or network issues. That means, yeah, if you have multiple databases across different parts of the country, if one database goes, other is there. So it actually helps you to easily replicate, and it's highly available, and you actually can rely more on MongoDB, right? Then we have flexible schema design. So MongoDB offers a flexible schema design, meaning it does not require a predefined schema like traditional relational databases. That means if I talk about normal databases, or for example user, you have some fixed fields in table column format. If I talk about SQL, data stored in table column format, you have some fixed fields like, for example, name, email, password, and suppose in future there is some extra field like age. So it becomes very complicated, because to add a new field in traditional databases, it's becoming very difficult. But if I talk about MongoDB, you can add or remove a field anytime at any place you want. So it's very beneficial, and this flexibility allows for easy modification of data structure as applications evolve, because in future obviously your data, you would be having more data in your application. So for that you need some flexible database, right? So the additional databases often cause a lot of issues in these cases, and you have to pass null values to actually fill up those empty values, and a very big issue is caused. And that's why nowadays these MongoDB like databases, like NoSQL databases, are actually used a lot. So it makes it adaptable to changing requirements without significant downtime or schema migration. So it actually just does not need any kind of restriction. You can pass any type of data, more data or less data. It would take any kind of data easily, right? So it's very flexible. Now, what is document oriented storage? So again, I told you that it simply stores data in document format. What kind of document? We have different documents, right? PDF, PPT, and Word document, different kind of documents. I'm talking about this document, right? JSON format object. This is the object, right? This is the object of JSON format. So yeah, I hope you are familiar with this. We have previously talked about this. So you can see that I have simply mentioned a very simple object which contains some user data, and this kind of data which has key value pairs. You can see we have an ID, then it would be containing some ID. Similarly, username is the key, then some value, email is the key, again some value, and like that. So I hope you are familiar with JSON format. You can watch my previous videos on that, right? So this is actually what I mean by document oriented storage. That means you can imagine a social media platform where user profiles are stored in MongoDB. So each user profile is represented like this. For example, you can see this is a single user's profile, right? Similarly, you might have multiple users profile, and all of them are actually stored inside an array. So that's a JSON format, and this is a single object. This is also a JSON object, right? So each user file is represented as a document. This is a document storing information like username, email, DOB, followers, posts, and comments. So unlike a traditional database, which we say as SQL database or MySQL, to be more precise, MySQL actually is a type of, you can say, platform which is based on SQL. That means MongoDB is based on NoSQL, MySQL is based on SQL. Okay, I hope the confusion is clear. So unlike a traditional table structure in relational database, MongoDB allows each user's information to store in a single document, making it easy to retrieve all details at once without joins or complex queries. That means in this NoSQL database, that is MongoDB, we don't have any kind of joins or relational databases. We just have plain documents, so it's very easy to retrieve data. You just need to get the object and just return that object, very easy, right? So now after this, what do we have? After this, what is scalability and high performance? So about scalability and high performance, if I give you an example, so consider an e-commerce website using MongoDB to store product information. As the website gains more users and products, MongoDB allows horizontal scaling by adding more servers or shards to the distributing the growing amount of data. So it actually allows you to add more servers continuously in horizontal manner. That means, yeah, more servers, right? This scalability ensures consistent performance even during the high traffic period. So this is very important. Now what else? If I give you example of replication and high availability, so in a banking application using MongoDB, data replication ensures high availability and fault tolerance. That means if data is erased from one server, at least it's available in the other database. So it's actually allows to easily replicate data. And MongoDB's replica set maintains copies of data across multiple servers. That means not only a single server would be having the data, multiple servers would be having that replica of a single data, so that if one server fails, we can have other server easily. Okay, so it's very beneficial and very useful nowadays. The replica set automatically promotes another server to ensure continuous access to data without interruption. So like for example, if the server is in India and if it's in US, if US goes down, at least India is there, right? So now after this, one more thing is flexible schema design. So if I give you an example, suppose you have a blogging platform using MongoDB to store articles. So over time, new fields like tags or additional information needed to be added to the articles without affecting the existing data. So if you want to add new fields, like for example, you have a paragraph, you have a title in the in your blog. Suppose in future you want to add a feature like for images, you want to add a field, so you can easily do this in MongoDB. That is, it's a flexible schema design. So MongoDB's flexible schema allows for easy modification without requiring a predefined schema alteration, enabling the addition of new fields to documents seamlessly. That means, for example, one object can have an image, other objects don't have an image, so there won't be any issue. Okay, so either you have an image, either you don't have an image, either you have a title, either you don't have a title, there is no issue in MongoDB. But if I talk about similarly in SQL, it's a very big issue if you have some missing fields, right? So that's the very beneficial thing which MongoDB provides us. Right, so I know that SQL has its own benefits, but since we are learning MongoDB, so I would be always taking the side of MongoDB for today's tutorial, right?